portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Looking to tap into a new business venture? Why not try your hand at manufacturing wood products right here at home?
A forest management program is being piloted on the island of Abaco, and if successful, government officials are hoping to duplicate the program in other islands such as New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Andros.
The program is a joint partnership between the Bahamas government, the FAO, and the Bahamas National Trust.
Janelle Ferguson traveled with the Minister for the Environment, Ken Dorsett, to get a first-hand view of exactly how this process works and the potential benefits for Bahamians.
It starts with a chainsaw and a little bit of elbow grease and timber. That tall tree standing more than 100 feet high is now ready for harvest. Now get ready for some pulling with a tractor, lots of tugging, and finally lifting that heavy log onto the sawmill for cutting. This is just the start of transforming the Abaco pine. That is a labor-intensive task. But for Terrence Rogers, who is one of the 22 people being trained, the hard work is worth it.
Well, I came here and I seen it as a great opportunity to actually start my own business if need be, and I'm able to do so. I like the experience how they teach nurses, and a lot of spin-off could come from it.
We have to start looking at our natural resources and connect the dots between the assets that we possess and the ability for us to create Bahamian industry and Bahamian jobs.
Now, trees like this one have been marked that will be used as a part of a thinning process. It will eventually be made into timber or for high-end products.
There's a lot of competition within the trees, and this prevents them from getting bigger, because what we want in the end as a final product is a big tree.
Meanwhile, consultant Arian Silken says this new venture could mean endless opportunities for the Bahamas.
It's also the Bahamas less dependent on imports of lumber, for example, which is now with 99% of the lumber here. What is sold in the Bahamas, it's coming from the US, and that's not necessary because the Bahamas has their own resources here in the forest.
Minister of the Environment Ken Dorsett says this new industry is being developed in a sustainable way for Bahamians to reap the long-term benefits.
Hoping that we're going to be able to create small industry and that we sensitize the Bahamian people to buy Bahamian and use the Abaco pine in some of their construction efforts.
Janelle Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Well, it seems the Resort World Bimini Superfast Ferry will finally begin sailing as the United States Coast Guard has given its final approval. We understand that services will officially begin on Saturday. The ship's approval comes after nearly a month of testing by the Coast Guard. You might recall last month when Genting debuted its new ferry following its takeover of the former Bimini Bay Resort, but was unable to sail due to safety infractions. President of Resorts World Bimini, Dana Leibovitz, says the company is pleased to work with the U.S. Coast Guard to bring the ferry to first-class safety standards. The $70 million ship will initially offer its Day Explorer cruises, which leaves at 10 a.m. and return at 7 p.m. before launching its party cruise service in early August. The trip takes about 2.5 hours each way. Well, Prime Minister Perry Christie also revealing details of a new investment set for San Salvador. Now, he told reporters Monday evening that the proposal is in the final stages of preparation for submission to the investment board. Prime Minister Christie is optimistic about the impact this development will have on San Sal.
It's meaningful in terms of the number of rooms, in terms of the amount of money refurbishing the existing resort at Club Med, expanding to new rooms, airport expansion, terminal building, tower, etc. in terms of what they would want. But for us right now, it's a question of our being able to determine the level of concessions and how do we go about, because ordinarily what you do is you help them with airlift, but they have, because it's a destination only known for Club Med, they are saying we want to come in there, we want to do a big, impactful development, but we're going to need the collaboration and cooperation of the government, and what that really means.
The lead investigator in the Kofi Goodman murder trial, Assistant Superintendent of Police Bernard Bonnaby, took the stand again today. Defense attorney Jeffrey Farquharson continued grilling him about his training and the quality of the police investigation in the Marco Archer case. Farquharson also suggested that Bonnaby did not follow proper protocols once he took over the investigation back on September 28th of 2011. However, Bonnaby responded that investigations are a team effort, noting that proper investigations into the matter were conducted from the outset. The trial continues before Justice Bernard Turner. Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Neil Brathwaite, or Gavin Gaskin, Attorney Neil Brathwaite and Darrell Taylor are prosecuting the case. He asked Bonnaby if he had ever secured Archer's home as part of the crime scene or eliminated his family members as suspects once the matter became a homicide investigation, and he said he hadn't. He also admitted that he had never sent investigators to Archer's home to take photos or send crime scene investigators there to gather forensic evidence. The case continues.
Coming up in Family Island news, we got the latest on the opening of one of the country's most used airports.
And set to spike, junior volleyball players get ready for a major regional tournament. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. Former Prime Minister of Barbados Owen Arthur says as the Bahamas moves to implement value-added tax, or VAT, it should conduct in-depth studies to determine the impact on prices, revenue, and the productive sector. He advised that the government conduct comprehensive public outreach to address specific concerns of stakeholders. The former Prime Minister, who implemented VAT in his country, said no matter how perfect its features are in their conceptual design, the success of the new tax will depend on the strength and sensitivity surrounding the planning and administration of its production. His comments came during his address to the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce. The Viva Wyndham Fortuna Beach in Grand Bahama was awarded the Travelocity Excellence Award for 2012. The award is given to one hotel per destination and recognizes overall performance and customer service. Only the 500 best hotels around the world on Travelocity are eligible to receive this recognition. The travel site highlighted that the Grand Bahama property offers 276 island-inspired guest rooms with balconies. It also features a secluded beach with 1,200 feet of white sand and crystal clear waters. 2 other Viva Wyndham resorts were also recognized. And Coca-Cola is reporting a dip in its profits in the latest quarter. The Associated Press is reporting that the world's largest beverage maker attributed the losses to bad weather and challenging economic conditions for weak volume growth. Revenue fell $12.75 billion, short of the $12.95 billion analysts expected. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain.